Hey, Jesse Stoddard here, and I'm excited to bring to you another great training called How to Expand into More Cities and Service Territories and How to Get Leads in a New Area, even if there's fierce competition, nobody's heard of your company there. If you're thinking about how to expand into more cities and service territories, you need to hear this. Here's a proven system for getting leads in a new area, even if there is fierce competition, nobody's ever heard of you there. You'll also learn my unique formula to get as many prospects to call you as soon as possible. This is a proven method to get leads in new cities and service territories for home services businesses. And it's a method, it's proven to work even if there's fierce competition in that area. In fact, especially if you're a new home services contractor company, it works. Or if you've been in business a long time and you want to expand into new cities or service territories as rapidly as possible, here's some things you need to know. The information below will be describing the following. First, an overview of the market situation for home services, 14 strategic home services market expansion lead generation strategies, the results that can be achieved by properly deploying a marketing strategy like this. So, the market for home services in the U.S. is expanding rapidly. According to Locus.sh, an automated supply chain service, the global online on-demand home services market is projected to grow up to $1,574.86 billion by 2024. We're in the trillions. And the home cleaning and repairs, salon, beauty treatments, and electrician and plumbing services are USA's most popular on-demand home services. Now, second, verified market research estimates that the U.S. home service market will be valued at $1,219.07 billion by 2026, with a compound annual growth rate, which is that CAGR number, of 35.81% from 2019 to 2026. The compound annual growth rate is a measure of the performance of a financial investment from the beginning to the end of its cycle. The CAGR value equals the rate of return, ROR, of the investment. This is a long, complicated way of saying that it is growing. If you have Now, the reason home services are in such high demand is vast, includes several factors. So if you own a home services business, then growth is a positive, but that means your competition is also growing. You may have success in your home location, your primary location, but moving forward into new territory will be a new challenge, obviously. Fortunately, there are solutions to the problem that your competitors don't even know or likely do not know. The onset of COVID forced many people to live and work at home, which placed a demand on the inner workings of the home, not to mention the fact that it forced people to spend a lot of time staring at their honey-do lists. And the increasing speed of technology has made way for faster, smarter home gadgets, devices, appliances, faster internet, more mechanisms, services, and more things that break and need repair within and around the home. And finally, smartphones and computer technology plus online companies have opened up the world to people's homes. Anyone can get anything you need at any time. Smartphones allow marketers to improve their daily strategies, help business owners to expand and influence the way that consumers live daily. With more people connected to the internet on their smartphones, the marketing reach and influence for home services continues to grow. Now, here are the 14 strategic home services market expansion lead generation strategies. All right. Now, to begin with, we have expanding your home services business to new territories means that new marketing techniques to reach your customers are going to be deployed. There are several excellent ways to branch out using approaches through digital marketing, such as lead generation, email marketing, snail mail, which is non-digital, but we can combine it with digital, SEO optimization, social media channels, and of course, digital and commercial advertising. We'll talk more about these methods here. Now, the first one is the SEO blitz, which happens to be my favorite because it's rarely done or understood, even with all of these home services businesses already having SEO companies. So the first step to ranking for any keyword is to create relevant, consistent, and authoritative content. And all SEO companies are talking about that already. Now, an SEO blitz focuses on creating thousands of high-quality pages across various topics in hundreds of different locations. Now, that would be like a high-level blitz. You can also do mini blitzes. The strategy requires planning and foresight that most companies do not have the time or resources to invest in. However, these pages will eventually become a huge asset that can also be used as citations in backlinking campaigns and link building strategies, which ultimately help you dominate the organic search in any area you wish to move into. It sounds complicated, but actually the concept is not. So I can show you, like when you look at this sample, This is just kind of a random, example of a sitemap for a website. You'll notice all of the pages that this website has. It doesn't just have one page or 2 pages or 5 pages. This has dozens of pages, hundreds of pages, and over the long haul, as you continue to build out, thousands. Now, these all have to be unique content. You can't have duplicate content. They also have to be all geo-targeted, meaning each one has specific keywords and specific locations, especially cities mentioned around them. And the word blitz is used here to describe the speed at which these pages are created and optimized. It requires a very fast developer or a templating system on the back end of your website to spin out the pages fast. Also, it is crucial that each page have unique content. I said that before, I'll say it again. If you try to have the same content repeatedly, Google will punish you and it will be counterproductive. What makes this a blitz instead of just a normal SEO strategy is the speed at which these pages are made. It takes months for SEO to be effective and bring in leads. So the faster you produce these pages, the better. An SEO Blitz is a program for home services, trades, contractor businesses who want to establish the most effective local SEO strategy for the primary service pages and most sought after keyword rankings using pillar cities. Call it pillars and posts. So the pillars are the main cities, the larger hubs in any area or county, and then adding smaller cities around the primary ones. Okay. The content strategy is built around a keyword map and content index that can be used for multiple cities and services by organizing all the cities and target keywords in one matrix. This enables your marketing team or your SEO agency to create many local pages for the primary service pages needed in the key areas you're looking for. They're all clustered around the pillars of the primary cities, and then they spread out like spokes on a wheel to hit the smaller pockets around the hub cities. To give you an idea of how to set up an SEO blitz for your business, think of a keyword map and content index as a foundation, okay, where you take all the primary services that you do, you turn them into target keywords that you want to rank for, and after researching using tools like SEMrush or Ahrefs, and your SEO companies usually know what these are, you take your primary service pages like insulation removal or hot water tank removal and replacement, etc., whatever that is, and then you create local pages in key areas for them, such as insulation removal Seattle, right? And then insulation removal Everett, whatever the other city name is. In the end, you'll have pages for each keyword and each city or town, and they're all clustered around the pillars of the primary cities and then spread out like spokes on a wheel to hit the smaller pockets around the hub cities as well. And all of these are well organized in your website page structure, in your site index, and easily crawled by and categorized by Google and other search engines. Google loves to categorize everything. So then the second one is the GMB. It's now Google Business Places or GBP, but most of us still call it Google My Business. And we're going to call it the GMB strongholds for today, right? Or GBP strongholds. Now, you've got a great business and you're ready to take it to the next level, right? And if you're a service business owner, there's a good chance you're looking to expand your services to new cities. And this is it's a city-centric thing with Google, not really county or just territory. Now, if that's the case, I have some good news and some bad news for you. The good news is that it's possible to set up satellite Google My Business or GMB location pages, which are essentially listings on Google, in primary business hubs or the major cities. The bad news is that most service business owners underestimate the importance of setting up satellite GMB location pages or listings in primary business hubs in major cities, and it's very difficult to get them everywhere. You can't get them in every town anymore. People used to try to use PO boxes, and that was quickly, banned by Google. And then it was the postal boxes at mailbox stores, and so it's really, you have to have a legitimate place, and sometimes they make you take pictures and video and everything. Google My Business is a free tool, by the way, and it helps consumers find local businesses like yours on Google Search, Google Maps, and the GBP listings, okay? And it's important because nearly half of all mobile searches are related to location. And I think the stat is 80% of mobile searches or searchers start their search with a mobile device. So it's heavily geared toward mobile, and it's all based on location, okay? Google My Business, it's a powerful platform, no doubt about that. And it helps you get found online by more people at the top of search results. And you can use Google My Business to manage your business listing on Google, connect with individuals looking for services in your area. They have messaging features and whatnot. And you can share updates on what new at your business. Almost acts like a social media platform. The best position to be in is what we call the 3-pack, or in one of the top 3 positions in the map pack on page 1 of the search engine results page. That's SERP, S-E-R-P. In my little picture here, you can see there's a search, installation contractor, Snohomish, Washington. First thing you see are the ads. Next thing you see is the map listings with a map to the right. So there's one of them that's an ad, and then 3 below that. And the 3 below that are actually the 3-pack. Those are the top clicked, most trusted positions. Don't forget, Google owns search, and the Google business page, formerly GMB, is their baby, and they love and feature and want to grow that particular thing that they have, right? And that goes for all products. So if Google says it's important to your business, you better bet the farm that it will become important to you at one point or another. Some SEO experts even say it is more important than your website. That means getting your Google My Business verified, business page verified in as many cities as possible is super important. Okay, now setting up satellite GMB listings in the major cities where your company operates helps ensure that potential customers can find you easily when they search online. In fact, research from Bright Local found that 83% of consumers prefer to use Google Maps over other mapping tools when looking for local businesses. So, what does it mean for a service business owner to set up satellite GMB location pages? It means creating an additional listing on Google Maps for your business's physical location in each major city where you plan on doing business. In other words, if you want to expand your services into New York City, then you will need to create 3 listings on Google Maps. One for your primary headquarters physical address in your primary hub city, as well as one for each of your satellite office addresses or warehouse spaces in each surrounding city that you can. Now, that would be much more powerful than just having one. If you can get a verified listing, that helps search big time. And 3 is better than 1. I find that most service business owners underestimate the importance of setting up the satellite Google My Business location pages or listings in primary business hubs in major cities. And this can be a huge mistake because it's important to be found by your target customers wherever they're searching for your business. And there's always predominance of emphasis on the major cities. So for example, let's say your actual headquarters is outside of the city. Fine, that's great. But you won't be as strong as the ones that are in the city, even for the surrounding locations when it comes to search. So you got to find a way to get an address actually there in that city. Okay. Don't worry about getting a GMB in every small town around your business. Okay. Instead, put them in the major cities and or in areas where your very best customers live. So that might be an exception, right? So if one of the smaller towns near the big city has all the best customers, well, in that case, you probably want to get one there, because then those people, you're going to be in the heart of where your best leads are coming from. Google has made it increasingly difficult to get new GMBs in every single town and or neighborhood. Gone are the days when you could use a postal box, P.O. box, at a mailbox store or anything like that, and haven't been able to use P.O. boxes for many years at the post office. So, in fact, even real offices can sometimes be difficult to get verified. An unverified GMB is useless. You need to be able to get that postcard delivered and or have a representative at Google see your pictures or videos, etc., to approve it. You then need to do whatever it takes to get at least a few reviews on the location to start. Typically shoot for like a dozen, okay? So that you send the proper ranking signal to Google to begin considering your GBP now for the list in the 3-pack on Google Maps searches. And this is primary real estate. It's worth gold. One of my clients, by the way, is called Attic Projects. Really cool guys, fantastic business. Has several locations throughout California, Washington State. When we first started working together, the SEO agency and I suggested creating satellite GMB pages for each location to help them rank higher for local searches. And it was initially challenging to find the qualified spaces that would count as an official business address for a verified GMB. Since they needed some warehouse spaces, that worked just fine. They already had those set up even before working with me, and without the need for shared office spaces. You know, when you can get those shared office spaces or community space kind of places for a monthly fee, you could use those as well, as long as you're actually doing business there. Using the owner or sales manager's home addresses was also an option. That's a little bit of a gray area, but it can be done. And as long as there's actual business being done there, I don't see why not. As they established these primary locations, optimizing the locations was all it took to begin pulling SEO rank and hence organic search traffic. All right, let's move on to the next one. That was a lot on just Google My Business and the SEO blitz, which is related. Those two work together, by the way. So now we're going to broaden out and talk about digital ads, pay-per-click for multi-location service businesses. A little bit different than just your average pay-per-click. Pay-per-click or PPC and display advertising like banner ads or video ads open up an incredible opportunity to launch a new location fast and effectively. You'll want to use a mix of both, but I am going to focus this discussion today on PPC, as it's probably the quickest and most direct way to generate leads if you don't have the time to develop more advanced marketing funnels and comprehensive approaches. Display ads are great for brand building awareness or to begin to generate top of the funnel prospects who will be interested in your free information or useful lead magnets. You then need to nurture those into leads over time, obviously. You can also use the audiences of the general display ads to determine who to remarket or retarget your more direct pay-per-click ad campaigns to. Ultimately, you'll want to combine both of these approaches, but it requires a great deal of testing and sophistication to do this properly without wasting a lot of money. You'll want to deploy the help of a professional when approaching this with larger budgets. There's too much at stake when spending money online, and Google loves to take your money, so you need to plan and monitor all your campaigns very carefully. There's even software that helps you avoid click fraud, which is maybe other companies or bots or scammers just clicking on your ads and driving up your cost. And you can get that monitored by a software or a service or SaaS company, and then actually take that back to Google or Bing and say, hey, you owe me because these were a bunch of bots clicking on my ads and I shouldn't have had to pay for it. So just an FYI, a little bonus there. All right, so here's some important numbers and KPIs to be aware of. First, there's some important ones that are critical. And so what's the difference between CPC and CPM? Well, CPC stands for cost per click. You pay when someone clicks on your ad. CPM is cost per 1,000 impressions. I think it's the word was mule or whatever. It's the Latin. But anyway, it means 1,000. So you pay based on how many people see your ads. They may or may not click. You'll also want to understand a little bit about impression share, click-through rate, which is CTR, and the more difficult to achieve KPIs such as ROAS, ROAS, which is return on ad spend. That's usually done more like in e-commerce when you have a sale that you can track, but you can figure it out for service business as well. Customer acquisition costs, which everybody should try to figure out, and average order value or average, sale, revenue per sale. If you're selling any products, mostly they use the AOV, and customer lifetime value is for service especially. So for a detailed discussion of a service business, determining customer acquisition cost and ideal target lead costs, see my other tutorial called Scaling a Home Services Business into a Multi-State Powerhouse Part 2. Okay. All right. Now, pay-per-click marketing shows you allows you to reach customers who are already searching for your services. These customers are looking for ways to solve their problems, and they're ready to spend money on the solutions they find. By using pay-per-click ads, you can target them in specific locations. For example, if there's a new population moving into a town and it's like growing fast and it needs certain services, yours hopefully, well, you could target those people with ads that specifically address those people's needs specifically. And it may be only a subset of the services you're offering. So you want to study that group and know, okay, what's happening there and what of my services would appeal to them most? And then we can target those specific people, those specific services. When it comes time to update your ad campaigns and optimize them for better results or more clicks, essentially, you'll find great insights within the Google Analytics dashboard. This feature allows businesses like yours to track conversion rates from each of their campaigns. So if one campaign is outperforming another, like by 50%, then it makes sense that more money should be spent on that particular campaign over time, as well as any other ones currently being run at full capacity. Lots of options there. All right. Now, pay-per-click marketing is a great way to get leads. If you're looking to get started with online advertising, maybe you've done mostly on referrals so far, or you're still just on referrals and general brand building, or maybe you've just been running Valpak or some money mailer type of a coupon deal, and you're trying to get going on digital, pay-per-click is often the best way to get started. It's perfect for multi-location businesses because it allows you to target a specific audience based on location. In many cases, you can, use a small budget to get tested, create leads, and scale up. And it's just fast. It's going to work a lot faster than SEO, which could take 6 to 9 months to really develop. All right. Pay-per-click it also helps you reach customers who are already looking for your services. If someone has already searched Google with keywords related to your business or service, for example, bird feeding or feeder, if that's what you're doing, you're bird feeding, you're selling that kind of stuff, they're likely interested in what you have to offer. So why not just let them know, right? Or carpet cleaning, or, emergency plumbing, right? Toilet needs to be fixed. Stinky, nasty crawl space that needs rodent removal and exclusion and, protection. Finally, when you're looking at this, pay-per-click can increase brand awareness by showing users relevant ads alongside their search results when they're browsing online content, unrelated, but not totally unrelated topics associated with yours. So you can have, when people are looking for one thing, they may see your ad and it may be closely enough related where it works for you. So also, I should point out, it's that if your business operates in multiple locations, pay-per-click can help you reach customers in specific areas around the locations you're trying to get, as well as in those locations. So there's a lot to be talked about with geo-targeting. It goes kind of outside the scope of this discussion, but it's also something that is worth looking into as well. Let's talk about proper tracking with analytics being essential to calculating your ROI. If you're running a multi-location service business, there's several areas where you need to track data. Here are my recommendations for tracking pay-per-click by location. Conversion data, phone calls, lead forms or form fills, or whatever method you use to capture leads. Most of this can be done with analytics very easily connected to your website. And revenue, or whatever metric used as a proxy for revenue. If you're trying to say, well, if you have something else that you want to run, or just profit, or, or gross margin or something, but typically it's going to be revenue. And then all of the above should be tracked on one dashboard so that it's easy to see how each location is doing compared with the others. We often resort to spreadsheets to customize something that meets all of our needs. There's plenty of software out there. The trick is if your home services and you're watching this or listening to this, you likely have some industry specific software, project management software that is, usually geared toward running a service business in terms of scheduling and invoicing clients. The problem with most of these is that they may or may not have an API, or which is a fancy way of saying they can't communicate well with other software. And unless you're using one of the major players, but if you're using anything smaller, a lot of times there's a problem with that, which makes it really difficult to tie in with your analytics and your marketing. So don't let that stop you. You can still do it manually on spreadsheets. You just have to have your marketing team or your digital agencies cooperate with you. You give them, here's the closed leads, here's the revenue created by them, here's where they say they're from or where we think they're from. And now you guys use this data to cross-check with your marketing data to find out which campaigns you were running that brought them in so that we can achieve ROI. And it's a process I do with my clients all the time. It's very difficult and time consuming, but it's worth it. Okay, Google Services ads. So that's the Google verified and Google guaranteed ads. These are kind of a newer thing with Google. They have a whole different service department. It's not the regular Google ads. So Google Service ads are a good way of generating leads for your business in general, for most service businesses. To qualify, you must meet the following requirements. Your business is pre-screened by them. So you have to show that you have a real business and they have to approve it. And you're able to deliver the service within 24 hours of receiving payment from the customer. So you have to make sure that you have a really good reputation with that. And then you offer at least one service in each range. And they're all geographic ranges, and 1 to 4 hours time frame, 5 to 8 hours, 9+ hours. They're really looking at trying to only qualify certain businesses in certain areas. So for example, plumbing companies are probably going to be one in most areas, but some areas don't offer it yet. and you just have to check with the with Google to find out on that. Remember, okay, looking Google ads versus Facebook ads. Remember that Facebook is interruptive marketing. So you don't go to Facebook to see ads, you go to Google to search for things you want or to find out information about a topic that interests you. Therefore, Facebook is not necessarily great for bottom of the funnel leads who are ready to buy right now. However, it is a great for top of the funnel leads who are just starting to think about your services, or they're not even aware of that you even exist and you want them to become aware. You can offer them a lead magnet, is the marketing term we use for like free information, like information first marketing, where you get them in the funnel and begin building awareness and then interest so that you can eventually build desire resulting in action. Remember AIDA from sales, AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. So you're working on the attention and interest side with Facebook usually more. This takes time and it's more of a farming instead of a hunting approach. A lot of service businesses don't have the patience, but the ones that do win. And then you can do conversion ads or Facebook lead ads to a remarketed or retargeted list. In other words, the people that look at your information or your videos or they're downloading your stuff, so they know they're looking at you and they're more interested. You could try more of the direct approach with the people in that specific group, not just generally on Facebook. And that'll get you a lot better result in general. So pay-per-click advertising is a powerful tool for multi-location businesses. I got to keep re-emphasizing that. However, it's important to understand that there are two different types of pay-per-click advertising platforms. There's keyword focus like Google ads and audience focus like Facebook ads. Very different. Facebook ads are great for multi-location businesses because they allow you to target people based on interests and demographics. This means you can reach people who have never heard of your brand before, but may be interested in what you have to offer. It's especially useful if you're trying to grow awareness or build a new customer base in a new area. Okay, so see how all that ties together. Facebook videos for exposure. Love this option. Facebook is the second largest search engine. Facebook video has over 8 billion views per day. Okay, Facebook videos for exposure, they're like TV on the phone. Facebook is the second largest search engine, right? So it has over 2 billion users. It's growing, and Facebook is the best place to advertise your business. I mean, overall, I really think it is if you do it right. You can easily upload videos to Facebook, get 1 million views, with a service, like the one my agency or any agency does. It's so quick and easy to get exposure and so cheap. Facebook video has over 8 billion views again per day, by the way. And it's only growing. It's also the largest video platform. People don't realize that on the planet. We got YouTube and Facebook. Very, very, there's a lot of people on Facebook watching videos with more than 4 billion hours watched every month. That's about 6 million years worth. Right? So no matter where you are in terms of audience size or reach, Facebook video gives you an opportunity to connect with people like never before. Another thing that most people don't think of, service business owners don't think of, is even if they have too many leads to deal with and they're trying to expand and they're thinking, well, the leads isn't the problem. It's finding people to work for us. Well, that's where marketing comes in again. And what better way than using Facebook video to help show what a great place to work you are and to attract the right kind of employees. So there's more than one way to use marketing online and video online. All right, now, Facebook lead ads are a great way to get more leads and get them quickly. The only downside is that they require a lot of planning and prep work to work effectively. And I already kind of touched on that. Lead ads are best for after you use video ads to create your invisible list, we call it, of people engaged in your content. And so when I say invisible list, usually when we talk about lists, we think of email lists or customer lists, name, address, phone number, email, a physical address, that you can mail them. I call it an invisible list when you don't really have the name, address, phone, you don't have the details, but it's in an audience, it's in a customer targeted audience on Facebook or online that when you send an ad out, it's going to those people. They just don't give you their actual names, but it's still useful for your marketing. See, that's what the difference is there. And you can see the pay-per-click for multiple location businesses guide that we're also, that we have. Once you have this invisible list, it's easy to set up lead ads with Facebook's custom audience feature. So basically you create an ad with a landscape page that explains what the lead form is, for and why it benefits them. For example, learn about how we can help you with XYZ problem. And then you set up a custom audience from people who've liked your page or watched your video ad or both. And this creates that invisible list of individuals who have interacted with your brand through social media channels, probably Facebook, Instagram. Don't forget that Facebook owns Instagram, right? Meaning that they're at least somewhat interested in what you have to offer. Okay. Now, this type of targeting allows us much more control over who sees our messages than simply running broad bid keywords would allow us to do. So it's a much different situation there. Okay. Now there's Bing. Bing ads is a great way to get some extra clicks that you may not be getting on Google. All you have to do is create a new Bing ads campaign and then share existing Google AdWords campaign with Bing. So they have the ability to just import. The thing about Bing is people underestimate it. It may have as much as 20% of the market at most. Obviously the 80% of the market, 1,000-pound gorilla is Google, but there's a lot of Microsoft employees that use Bing and other people. My area in the Seattle market, there's a lot of Microsoft people. So there's a lot of folks on Bing and, / Yahoo, right? So it's just because it's smaller doesn't mean it's not a good place to go. It tends to be cheaper. There is a little bit of an issue. A lot of our clients have had issues with the click fraud, spam kind of stuff where they get a lot of spam. But again, you can use software to help cut that down. And as long as you're policing it, you could do it in a smart way and make extra money. It allows you to capitalize on the traffic from both search engines without having to do two separate accounts, which can get confusing and time consuming, right? So in other words, you just share existing ad campaigns from Google straight over, and it just saves you some time. You will have another account, but you'll have less work setting it up. Bing and / Yahoo, their search engine market shares around 20%. So it's important to take advantage of this opportunity. If your marketing budget permits, it's better to have more lines in the water and have diversity in your marketing. Okay, OTT media. All right, you may have been using, or at least been pitched, the new idea of OTT. According to Wikipedia, an over-the-top, that's what it stands for, media service is a media service offered directly to viewers via the internet. OTT bypasses cable, broadcast, and satellite television platforms, the type of companies that traditionally act as controllers or distributors of such content. In other words, you might think of OTT as a relatively new way to participate in an old media. Media salespeople and agencies will cringe at the last statement I just made, and I admit to oversimplification, but the truth is that TV ads are not new. The big difference here is how people are engaging in TV. I think the power of OTT is that you can combine this with all the latest geofencing and targeting methods that weren't available in years past, so that you can actually measure and track the performance of your video commercial ads. Although it is possible to spend all your budget on Facebook video ads, with some of the best targeting and never-ending algorithmic Big Brother scary targeting available, getting a presence on streaming video services can help supplement the rest of your paid advertising. As more and more people watch their favorite shows via devices connected to the internet, it's worth participating in this relatively new method. As with all other forms of media, it doesn't matter what it is as long as you can get and measure specific results to determine your ROI. When rolling out a new location, it makes sense to add this to your marketing mix if you have the budget to do so. And it may not be as expensive as you think. We're basically talking about streaming, getting your ads on everybody's devices when they're watching shows, and you can target now. So you're not just running a national TV ad anymore. This is very, very different. It changed the game. After establishing your baseline SEO and pay-per-click campaigns we already talked about, the next step is to get back to basics and run every fundamental you can in the new area you're launching. The following is a list of time-tested approaches that work for small businesses as well as multi-location chains or even franchises. All right, local Facebook groups. Participate and or start one. Okay, chances are there are local Facebook groups that are actively used for your ideal client right now, actively used by, They could include anything from neighborhood-specific groups, buy and sell groups, garage sale groups, and more. They're there. Just go in there and add value in a non-salesy way and become a valued contributor to the group. When an opportunity arises for you to talk about your business, then do so, and always add value first, of course. If you're not sure how to find these groups or how to use them to start building relationships and trust with your target audience, let us help. We can help you find the best ones for you, show you how they work so that you can start making connections with people who are already interested in what you have to offer them. But the basic idea is you find a group, and if you're the owner, you're going to put either a sales manager or the local customer service rep that you have, the salesperson, whoever is motivated to actually bring in business for your bring in new business for you, put them in that group, or you do it, right? Somebody in the company who's going to be offering expertise can begin this process. So it could be whoever's doing business development. It could even be the marketing people, right? Or your marketing department. It could be somebody though that is motivated to actually stay on top of it and continue to look for deals. Now, if you're looking to get more people in your market to notice you and your business, here's a great way to do it. Hold a social media contest. Here's how it works. First, you choose the prize that you'd really love to give away that you think people will be excited about, right? For example, a yard sign or a balloon, or maybe even both. Like, you want them to have a yard sign or a balloon in their yard. So you think about that. And then you ask people to post photos of themselves with their prize, that whatever it was, like if you're giving away a TV or you're giving away even something smaller like gift cards. And then you want them to show their prize that they earned and then tag you on social media with a picture of them in it. So once you've collected all those photos, draw a winner from among them, and you'll be pleasantly surprised at how many people will participate in order to win something they want. Send out an offer along with your thank you note and a gift card, or whatever else you need to do. So the basic idea is we want other people posting for us, right? It's okay. So if somebody gives you a testimonial, it's great, and you post it on your social media, but it's still you posting, even though you're using the other person's name and likeness. That's fine. But what is better than you posting about somebody else's success? Like you see it with realtors all the time. A realtor will take a picture of the new homeowners, and the realtor posts it to their page, and they may try to tag people and stuff, and that's all well and good. But imagine how much more powerful it is if the people that bought the house themselves put that picture on their own profile and tag the real estate agent. It's 10 times more powerful. It's way better social proof. It's a whole nother level. And so with sweepstakes, you can kind of do that, where you get them to post about you and you're incentivizing them to do it. That's essentially how it works. All right, here's an example, a script you might even use. So, hey, company name fans, Dan's Plumbing fans, we're hosting a social media contest this week. We want to see what you're doing with your yard signs. Share a photo of your yard sign on social media, and you tag us in it and use the hashtag, I love, Dan's Plumbing. We'll draw one lucky winner at random for all of the participants, and the winner will receive an offer and a gift card from Dan's Plumbing. So have fun with it. And don't forget to check out the rules below. And then you got to be 18, and you got to be located within our service area, within this date. Winner's going to be drawn, winner will be announced, et cetera, and it's really that simple. You could just do it that way. Right. A couple other examples. Hey, Dan's Plumbing fans. Hopefully, if there is a Dan's Plumbing, thank you for letting me use your name, I guess, right? Want to win an iPad? Send us a photo of your yard sign. We'll pick a winner at random. We're so excited about this contest because we know how much you love our products or our service, and we want to give you the chance to show them off or whatever, right? So that's kind of an easy way to say you adjust this to your own, liking. You can enter as many times as you like, but only, one entry will be counted per person. You have until this date. Get ready to have to show off your garden, or, well, in this case, it was Dan's Plumbing. So whatever. You just adjust the language, but the basic idea is you get them to do what you wanted them to do by ethical bribes. And the lucky winner is going to receive a $50 gift card, code to use on their next service. We hope that you have fun with this contest. Stay tuned for more contests coming soon. And I would run these regularly, and I would change them and test everything. So like how those different examples of the language, I would test those, try different gifts, try different things you want them to do, and try different gifts and rewards, different incentives basically, and different things you want them to do. And test and mix and match them. And that way it never gets old, because it's always slightly different. And so you can run them month after month after month, because they're always a little bit different. You're asking them to do something slightly different, and you're giving them something slightly different. And then you can see which ones work and which don't work, and repeat them next year. Use lead magnets with Facebook lead ads. So we talked about lead magnets before, that you want to create a free offer on your website in exchange for people giving you their contact information. It's usually top of the funnel. It means it's information based. It's something interesting, useful. This could include things like a book, a full-on book or ebook, at least, or report, money saving coupons. It could be a coupon book, a checklist, an educational video series, a free item of value of any kind. Just make sure that the offer is added everywhere, from social media to the footer of your email, on your website, special landing pages, and then the fortunes in the follow-up. Make sure there's a great email sequence following up extensively. Add physical mail if possible. That's how you build that big funnel of people coming in on a consistent basis in a new area. Direct mail, okay, especially sales letters off a lead magnet request. So they already got your lead magnet, and then you're following up with a sales letter. So this is an example of online to offline, or offline to online, or online, offline, online marketing, rather than just one or the other. So direct mail continues to be a proven lead generation tool, and maybe one of the best. The problem is that most companies are doing it wrong, or they're not doing it at all. Every direct mail piece should reference the one before it, because multi-step mail is always better than single shot mail. Have great copy and design that gives people a reason to take action, and great call to action, great offer, and create urgency with a limited offer with limited time. Direct mail should always be done in combination with other types of marketing, multi-step, multi-channel, multimedia marketing, like we've been talking about. And typically it's going to do better if it's a series of 5 to 7 or more impressions over a period of time. Additionally, don't blanket an entire area because it's so expensive. You're better off focusing on a smaller area and dripping regular marketing pieces to that area. To improve open rates, use lumpy mail or 3D mail to get them to open it better. It's not much more expensive, and if you have a good targeted list, it can be worth it. And here's a variation. Combined with a referral partner strategy, do an endorsed mailing. Okay, so for example, for a preventative special offer, works even if they don't need you yet, like a preventative crawl space audit or something. This is where the champion mails, champion meaning like who they know, the endorser or somebody they know, could be one of your past customers. You go to the past customer and you say, hey, we build this business on referrals. Would it be okay? You certainly, you belong to some organization. Do you know, would it be okay for us to mail that organization, or the people at that organization on your behalf will pay for everything, and all we ask is that you let us use your name. And the champion mails one letter for you. You pay for this letter. It's on their stationery. It's their return address, and to their best targeted list, and introduces you. Could be also referral partners that do this for you. You offer to pay for it, of course. Then you follow up on your own letterhead with your own envelopes. Then you follow up with a letter sequence to offer a free problem prevention audit to avoid the 102 possible problems that can occur in your home without warning, that type of thing. So that's an interesting, awesome Dan Kennedy style direct mail strategy that works amazingly well. Okay, revisit your brand, consider a strategic redesign. So this might surprise you as an opportunity for lead generation, but a strong brand can inspire people to call you. This is especially true if you build a brand that, 1, captures the attention of your ideal audience, and 2, speaks clearly about the problems you solve, and 3, separates you from the competitors in the market, and 4, makes it simple to get in touch. With the right brand, you will be surprised at how many leads it generates, while those without strategic brand design remain skeptical. So the idea here is you got to look at it and you got to think, is your brand, it might be the name or the slogan or tagline, maybe it's just the tagline that needs an adjustment. Maybe it's the logo. Usually it's a combination of those things. Like, what is your USP, and does the brand really do it? The other language around your brand package. Do you have a brand package? Looking at those things, it does make a difference. Okay, and next we want to look at your existing list. This may surprise you as a source of leads and referrals, yet it's a powerful and untapped source that most service companies completely ignore. When contacting your current customers for follow-up calls, tell them about your plans to open a new area and ask them who they know. Of course, you want to find out anyone they have a relationship with within the new area, but finding logical referral partners is even better. Ask them if they know any real estate agents or home inspectors, landlords, etc., in the area you want to go in. Although calling on all of your customers might be impractical, you can narrow your list to those people who you know are already good connectors or networkers and that have a higher probability of knowing a lot of other people. If you find a local influencer or celebrity, kind of local celebrity in the area, you can even offer them an incentive to send your message to their list or post it on their social media for you. It can be surprising how inexpensive it is to get a local endorsement from a credible influencer. Your customers may only think of you for one type of service, or maybe there are opportunities to buy from you that they're not even aware of. So reach out to your list and cross-sell them. The very first step, for example, is to let your attic, like for my attic and crawl space companies, let those customers know that you also do crawl spaces or duct cleaning or even solar fans or pest control or sump pumps and electrical and pest exclusion clients. Let those guys know that you do insulation and solar fans and so on. So customers simply don't realize they need to be guided. Additionally, customers may not even realize that they can buy more from you. For example, if you sell electrical or mold inspections, many customers haven't heard of it and they don't know why they need it. So reach out to your existing list and educate them. Can you offer an extended warranty that the customer needs to pay for over a long period of time, which also produces continuity for your revenue? Now, I know this is outside of the scope of expansion, but you might as well be making more revenue at the same time. And when you're talking to them and asking for referrals or who do they know in this new territory, you're already on the phone. You might as well maximize whatever you can get out of that particular situation. Referrals continue to be one of the very best ways to get many low-cost, high-value leads. The problem is that many service companies do not ask for referrals very well or at all. So you need to make it a part of your regular marketing and sales process to ask for referrals. You don't have to do it after the job is finished either. You can start even before the person's hired you. When they call on the phone the very first time, you can ask them something like, is there anyone else with the same problem, such as a neighbor who we can also serve while we're out there? Ask before you serve them. Why not? While you serve them, after the job is done, and as a part of the follow-up sequence, like ask multiple times. Another way to get referrals is by connecting with a local organization or corporation, including a hospital, a college, a large factory, or national headquarters, any big company that's in the area. Let the company know that their employees would all receive a preferred customer discount and like a corporate deal or corporate special and extra special service just because they're employees. Organizations like this because it gives their employees a special benefit without costing the company anything. And of course, the employees like it because they get a discount. It also helps spread the word in the new area that you're trying to get into rapidly. Okay, affiliate marketing, joint ventures, things like strategic alliances. This one is so simple, it's so scalable, nobody even thinks of it. Find local companies that serve the same clientele as you, but offer a non-competing service. For example, if you're in attic and crawl space remediation, insulation, HVAC, plumbing, and or electrical, one of those types, then consider working with a pest control company or a home inspector or a handyman service or an appliance repair and a locksmith. Each of these also serves homeowners too. Then refer your customers to them and they'll refer their customers to you. And there's a lot of variations on this. Variation 1 is a pay a fee per lead and or a simple percentage per job closed. There are so many companies out there that this is a very simple way to get a lot of leads fast. Paying for the lists or the referrals is a way to encourage the referral partner better to participate. It can be cheaper than advertising. Variation 2, run an affiliate contest. So you have these others that you work with will offer a grand prize to the affiliate that sends you the most leads in the month. Variation 3, swap lists and or leads. This one doesn't even cost anybody any money. You give your leads list for the month in exchange for theirs, of a similar size. Okay. Variation number 4, rent a list from one of these companies, which is cheaper than going to a list broker. So in other words, you just pay for the rights to contact their list and, then you keep paying, they keep updating it for you. Essentially, we call it renting a list. Variation 5, sell your leads. Although this doesn't create more leads for you, at least it makes money and helps pay for the advertising costs, especially for leads that aren't quite a good fit. I see that a lot in the businesses I work in. They get a ton of leads that are just not a good fit. And then they just say, well, this was a bad lead. And then they mark it, lost. And then that's it. There's no further, and then they're complaining to the marketing department because they got too many bad leads. Well, that's only if you look at it as that way. If you look at it as this is an opportunity to make money, you can sell the leads, you can rent the list, you can refer them out to the partner that refers you back. I mean, there's always a way to make it profitable so that you get a return on ad spend. Variation 6 is to focus on larger referral partners that match all your locations for sheer quantity and a closer relationship with one referral partner. So instead of having a whole bunch of little ones, you find like the big company that's in all the same areas that serves the same customer, but it isn't directly competing, and you just work a big deal with them. It's almost like a large joint venture. Of course, you could also go and buy those companies too eventually, but that's for another conversation. Variation number 7, focus on many smaller referral partners. So the opposite of that, to take advantage of localized referrals and have individual salespeople or sales managers make the relationships in their given territories. And this can help with diversification too. This is often done. One of the companies I was working with, the owner had all the salespeople join networking groups, either the BNIs of the world or the LATIPs, those referral networking groups. They meet at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday morning or whatever. And they build relationships with all of those, and then they pass leads back and forth. And it's really great. And they just made all the salespeople do it as part of their job. They got quite a few deals that way, and made a lot of money doing it that way. And it was also very diverse in terms of who these partners were. It makes sense depending on how big and broad your business is getting. Okay, YouTube videos. YouTube videos are a great way to get in front of your audience. Record videos on topics that your audience is interested in as it relates to your trade lines, of course, and then post them regularly. It could be as simple as that. Record one video a day regularly. It doesn't have to be a very long or very polished. Just get a short video out there daily if you can. Think of things that your audience is already searching for. For example, for an attic and crawl space remediation business, the ones I tend to work a lot with, consider videos that answer questions like, do I need to replace my insulation in my attic? For a plumber, it could be, why does my toilet keep running? Or if you're in HVAC, consider videos like how to replace a filter. At the end of every video, just make an offer, a nice, easy, gentle offer, and invite people to call or to check out your free lead magnet on your website or whatever. And people love that, even though you might think there's a ton of videos out there already, but yours would be localized, different. And people in the area are more likely to see your stuff because you're local to them. All right. Merger and acquisitions. Most people do not think about this at all. In uncertain times or in a challenging economy like we're in, many companies are thinking about shutting down or they're just getting older and they want to retire and they want to sell. They may be doing great, but they just don't want to be there anymore. You may consider acquiring the whole company or even just the customer list. You can buy just customer list, for example. When you have the list, send out a letter introducing yourself and let customers know you'll take care of them just as well as their previous service provider. This goes beyond the scope of this training, but it's a whole nother opportunity there to grow fast. Lead generation, listing, and directory sites. The competition's stiff in your industry, right? It may be worth caving and doing a deal with Home Advisor or Angie's List, Thumbtack, Neighborhood App, or even Gasp, Yelp, or the Better Business Bureau, specifically for the new territory you're trying to deploy your marketing into. Now, I have a lot of years of experience making sure that we have listings on all of these sites for businesses, but it's a mixed bag, right? But this is true, especially if you have a lot of competition in the area already. It might be really valuable. In that case, it can be a great way to get your foot in the door and gain some visibility in that new territory. These sites are pretty straightforward. You list yourself as a local business. You pay a fee each month for their services. Typically, it's a pay-per-lead or a pay-per-click budget thing that they have on top of their base service. And it's good news. The good news is that these outlets usually have good SEO practices, and they can help boost your search engine optimization because they're pointing to your website, listing and directory sites. The bad news is that some of these organizations run like the mafia. And you not only have to pay to play, but if you piss off the wrong person and refuse to play their game, you get demoted at best and destroyed at worst. And I've seen it. I've seen companies get destroyed by relying too much on these sources for leads and then get blackballed when they stop paying. And their good reviews disappeared and their bad reviews magically were all that anyone could see. These companies claim not to engage in these practices, but class action lawsuits and real world experience tell me otherwise. Still, if you start modestly and are careful, you can play this game relatively unscathed and end up cashing in. I recommend first trying to work your way into the Neighborhood app if there's a good following in the area that you're launching in, and then getting reviews there is very good. Similar situation for Thumbtack. These are smaller companies compared to the big players and are a bit more competitive in terms of pricing. The most important things are the reviews and the organic side of it. If there is really such a thing as organic anymore, but the perceived organic part, right? Then if you can get a little business the organic way without paying, and it seems to work, then pour on the paid budget gasoline to act as a catalyst and blow it up as long as you can. I have an example of a client that does tons of work just out of Thumbtack, and they get tons without paying for the ads at all. It's just based on the reviews. But what I have found is that if you see one that works without you having to pay, then when paying money makes it work better. And that would be the basic strategy there. The results that can be achieved by properly deploying marketing strategies like we've talked about. All right, you might have heard me tell at least part of the story about the $13.8 to $17.8 million a year increase I happened to generate as a CMO to an attic and crawl space remediation business. Well, in case you've lived under a rock for the last 20 years, that is one of the fastest growing home services contractor niches in the country. It's actually, a lot of people don't, so I shouldn't say that. They go to where people don't want to go. Nobody wants to work in crawl spaces. Sometimes they're hitting it from the installation contractor business side, sometimes from pest control or pest exclusion, rodent proofing, or even from the electrical or whole house energy efficiency inspector angle. Either way, they're going where nobody else wants to go, the crawl spaces, attics, and underneath crawls. My story really started 10 years earlier when I was employed for a time as a salesperson. I jumped in those crawl spaces myself on my belly with the rat turds and all. And I was for a few months the number one salesperson. If I wasn't number one, I was like number two. But eventually I decided I didn't like physically being in the crawl spaces. I mean, who does? And I wanted to pursue higher callings, but I never lost my curiosity about this fascinating business model. And 10 years later, after mastering marketing for many service businesses, the owner offered to have me come back as their chief marketing officer in charge of all their revenue generation. It's all sales and marketing. And, there was no higher level position that he could have given me. And in terms of responsibility, it was like one step away from being an owner. So I was honored. And I went into that business right before Christmas time. And I started going through every single nook and cranny or crawl space of the business, especially every single marketing and sales strategy they ever tried. I created a 70-page, incredibly thorough marketing plan between Christmas and New Year's Eve. And the office was empty. I was slaving away, pounding on the keys. The only computer that was still switched on. There was no vacation for me. I was there to get her done. And, they came by my office and saw a whiteboard with an entire marketing funnel diagrammed out, copies of sales letters, which I also wrote based on interviews with the owner and salespeople, along with my own experience in sales, and the tape to the board and a 3-ring binder containing the sales and marketing plan on my desk. And then it really hit me like a ton of bricks. As cool as a comprehensive marketing plan seems, it means nothing if it isn't executed, right? It means nothing if people just leave it on the shelf or gather dust, like the binders they already paid consultants to produce that hadn't been cracked open in several years. And it also doesn't work if there is resistance to change. And every service business has resistance to change. The front desk hates the change. The customer service representatives and sales guys hate the change. And the service technicians and the crews hate the change. The only kind of change they like is when you give them a tip by increasing their pay without them having to do more work. Therefore, I knew I had to focus on implementation. We needed quick wins to prove that the change was worth the effort. So we rebranded and we added ancillary products and services to increase the average customer lifetime value. So much more. I mean, I worked with the sales team, the front office, customer service reps, and developed every marketing asset and vendor relationship to create an entirely new system. Sometimes that meant hiring and firing team members and vendors. I met with the owners regularly to discuss every step and then help to ensure that it all got done. It was grueling. I even physically sat in the SEO agency's office every week for several hours to work as closely as I could with their entire team. Here are a few things we accomplished for the successful crawl space remediation installation contractor. Number one, manage the vendor relationships and budget allocations to improve outputs. Number two, I developed a comprehensive business and marketing plan, built the marketing team, implemented strategies, and helped hire and coordinate with the sales team. Number three, I helped expand into new cities and territories, coordinated with legal counsel to protect trademarks, and worked with a franchise consultant to present the opportunity for national expansion as a valid option for ownership. They ended up not going that way, but that was okay. And I'm proud of the fact it worked. I'm proud of the fact that I helped position and drive this crawl space remediation, insulation contractor, and pest control business of the Pacific Northwest, like the number one company by far in 2017, and helped the company go from 13.8 million to 17.8 million in 1 year. The owner decided to sell the company and cash in on a big payday. So it was a happy ending for him. And that's how it ended. It was great. But, that doesn't end there. You can feel free to investigate my LinkedIn profile to see my resume, work history, and reviews. It's all on LinkedIn, Jesse Stoddard. Just check it out. So how to outsmart competitors who are all doing the same marketing stuff as is each other. Okay. And my message is you can grow faster with a fractional chief marketing officer. You can let us create, manage, and deploy a marketing strategy to help you reach your goals faster. What is a fractional CMO? A fractional chief marketing officer is sometimes referred to as an outsourced CMO or part-time CMO. I don't really like those terms, but sometimes, transitionary or whatever. It's a marketing executive serving businesses by leading marketing strategy, sales development, and growth opportunities, and heading the marketing department. Businesses use fractional CMO services because they do not need a full-time CMO, but still require expert strategy and leadership. Businesses typically enjoy the flexibility that the whole fractional CMO concept provides. It often makes sense to bring in a fractional chief marketing officer instead of a full-time CMO. This can be for financial reasons. As a typical full-time CMO salary can cost far more than $252,930 per year, which was the average in my area, or because the work needed to be done by the CMO does not require a full-time position. And honestly, the dirty little secret is that most companies, especially service companies under $50 million in revenue, they don't need a full-time CMO anyway. So it's expertise you need. Don't rely on inexperienced marketers to dictate your business's overall marketing strategy. Bring in a fractional CMO to provide a comprehensive marketing plan for your business. It's cost you can afford. You don't need a top-heavy organization with a full-time CMO on staff. A fractional CMO will provide you with the insights and reporting that you need without the high price. And it's a self-managing executive. A CMO will lighten your workload by managing all aspects of your company's marketing department, from vendors to employees. The CMO acts as an executive. And for all intents and purposes, that's what I do. So here's some fractional CMO responsibilities. It's developing the marketing strategy for both the short term and the long term, deciding and committing to which marketing strategies are best for your business, such as SEO, content marketing, paid advertising, Google pay-per-click, Bing, Facebook, social media, email, direct mail, podcasts, etc., if that's appropriate. Solving marketing problems that will arise and need to be resolved quickly. Leading the marketing department and inspiring team members. Hiring new employees and building out your team for success. Working with outsourced agencies, leaning on their experience and holding them accountable, even more important. Your fractional CMO should have a wealth of marketing and managerial experience. Therefore, the fractional CMO should be the natural leader of your marketing team. And in addition to leadership qualities, the fractional CMO is to be seen as a C-suite level marketing strategist who helps organizations achieve their marketing goals. That's kind of the bottom line. A fractional CMO will work closely with both your organization's leadership team and the marketing talent, and that in order to execute all of these goals. All right, moving on. Benefits of a fractional CMO. How far do you want to go? If you're launching a big project, for example, big campaigns, and you don't have the time to do old-fashioned prospecting anymore, the way you did when you were a smaller business, or if you're already exhausted, you've already exhausted your existing contacts, and you need to find new business fast, and you've already tried to maybe hire and fire marketing people and it didn't work out, or you're not sure whether you can trust your SEO agency, well, then a fractional CEO, or in our case, CMO, may be able to help you. That should say CMO, my apologies. A fractional CMO expertly knows how to expand a business. It's what they do, right? That's what we focus on. Expand nationally to different cities or get national coverage. With a fractional CMO, you can expand to multiple cities, counties, areas, regions, and states without breaking the bank as you would have to with a full-time CMO. Using a fractional CMO allows you to get the results that you need so that you can expand your business in any area of the country or even in different countries. As a business owner, you know the value of acquiring new customers. The problem is that you don't have the time to manage all the employees and vendors. That's where a fractional CMO comes in handy. With a fractional CMO, you get to be the master and commander of your marketing strategy and teams without having to be everywhere and be all things to all people. You're wasting your time going the extra mile when somebody already went there for you. So if you own a thriving home services business and want to expand farther and further and in more territories than ever before, check out www.getleadsfirst.com, where I explain everything about how our fractional CMO program works. That's www.getleadsfirst.com. Thank you. Have a great day.